It's the International Soccer Preview. We are Soccerphiles Canada. Welcome to Series 30, looking at the players of the 2025 Gold Cup. This episode is looking at the players of Costa Rica. Here we go. Season 3. And so, here we welcome new listeners who are joining just for the short version of this mediacast. In the full version, we introduced the candidates and their likelihood of making the final squad. We also summarized who has been occupying each position since the 2023 Gold Cup. So for those just listening to the short version, you can go to the full version if you want to know the reasons for our prediction here and other information, such as the manager situation, which has a big effect on Costa Rica over the past couple of years. For those who have listened to sections 1 and 2, this is basically a review summary. So we'll review the candidates. I said review of starters here, but we're going to review the candidates. But we're also going to go over some injury information and some closing thoughts. So let's go back to the top of our list and see who we got. We have manager Miguel Herrera, ex-manager of Mexico, in from the beginning of 2025. And we saw that there were two managers over the past couple of years, as well as an interim manager in between those. So a lot of chopping and changing for Costa Rica, and that's why you're going to see so many candidates on the list. For goalkeepers, we have a definite candidate in Patrick Sequeira. No candidates at the likely level, but 6 at the possible level. Esteban Alvarado, Alexander Lezcano, Anthony Walker, Kevin Bryzano, Kevin Shimura, and Aaron Cruz. And then we have a couple of players seemingly off the squad. Maybe I'll just focus on the more recognizable name here of Keylor Navas. So one of many veterans who are basically off the team, not necessarily retired from club soccer, but have been off the Costa Rican team for long enough that we think they're retired from the national game. Okay, we move on to central defenders, and we noted that Costa Rica often uses a 3-man central defense, so we have a lot of candidates here. At the definite level, we have Francisco Calvo and Jalen Mitchell, who may play as left back and right back if they use a 4-man defense. We have 3 likely candidates in Fernan Ferron and Alexis Gamboa, and Juan Pablo Vargas. And I should make it clear that when we say definite and likely, we're talking about the possibility of their being selected for the squad. We're not talking about starters. We will save that for part 2, which will come out in about a month. Central defenders, possible candidates, we have 4: Julio Cascante, Santiago Van de Putten, Jason Molina, and Douglas Sequeira. And then we have seemingly off the squad, Pablo Arboin, who did actually play around the 2023 Gold Cup quite a bit, but not since or not recently. And then a few veterans, Oscar Duarte, Giancarlo Gonzalez, and Kendall Waston, all of them seemingly off the squad. Over to the left back position. When there is a left back, it's actually often Francisco Calvo, but the position, because they use a 3-man central defense quite a bit, this left back position often becomes a left wing position, and Ariel Lassiter has been playing it most of all. So he's a definite candidate, Ariel Lassiter. Francisco Calvo we covered in central defense, but he'll be over here if it's a left back. We have a likely candidate in Joseph Mora, and then a possible candidate in Ronald Matarrita. The veteran absent here is Brian Oviedo, seemingly off the squad. We have a few other candidates, but I'm not going to name them all unless there's something significant to be said. So over to the right back position. No candidates at the definite level, but it could be Mitchell though, playing as a right back if they use that formation. Likely candidates are Haxel Quiros and Gerald Taylor. And then we have a possible candidate in Yostin Salanis. And then bigger names that are seemingly off the squad, Jeffrey Valverde and Kaiser Fuller there. Up we go to the midfield then, defensive midfielders. And most of Costa Rica's midfielders are coded as defensive midfielders, and they use them more than they use central midfielders. We have definite candidates in Jefferson Brenes and Alejandro Bran, a likely candidate in Orlando Gallo, and then seemingly off the squad. I don't see any names really, any big names there, so we'll leave that be. Players coded as central midfielders. We don't actually have many at the definite level or at the kind of likely to make the squad level, but we have moved attacking midfielder Brandon Aguilera as a definite candidate here because he's been playing more in the central midfield than in the attacking midfield. In terms of names seemingly off the squad, Wilmer Azofaifa, Yeltsin Tejeda, and probably the biggest of all, Celso Borges, no longer appearing for the team. Left and right midfield position, we have a couple of names, but really they don't use the positions that much. We won't spend a lot of time on it other than to say we have possible candidate Randall Leal, who's coded as a left midfielder. Let's move on upfield though to the attacking midfield, and Soccer Files has created a category of left attackers. I won't go into detail, but these would be kind of left attacking midfielders basically. We have definite candidates Josimar Alcocha and Alvaro Zamora, and then possible candidate Randy Vega. Seemingly off the squad is Jewison Bennett there, and you will see that players may be coded differently if you look at the YouTube. For example, Josimar Alcocha is coded as a right winger, but recently has been playing more as a left attacker. But having said that, all of these players may appear kind of anywhere on the forward line. We might see Alcocha on the left, or we might see forwards coming back to play these attacking midfield roles. And that's the case on the right side because the top candidates are both forwards, Warren Madrigal and Kenneth Vargas, the definite candidates there. Likely candidate is Joel Campbell. He's also coded as a forward primarily, but does play as right attacker. We have a possible candidate also in Carlos Mora. Central attacking midfielders, they don't use the position that much. So we did see Brandon Aguilera is coded this way, but playing more in central defense. And really, we don't have many candidates here other than the possible candidate, Crachel Perez. I think he played one of their recent games, or it might have been the friendly, the experimental friendly in January there. And now we move on to the forwards. We don't have any players coded as secondary strikers, so we go directly to forwards, where we have definite candidate Manfred Ugalde, and then likely candidates Alonso Martinez and Andy Rojas, and then a possible candidate in Anthony Contreras. And yeah, that's a quick summary of the candidates, and then we'll see in part two which ones were selected. So that's our review of candidates. Let's go to a review of injuries. Part two, we'll talk about notable non-selections, surprise inclusions, new players, and any updates on injuries. So let me go back to my graphic here at the top and say goodbye. Where's my graphic? There's my graphic. All right, that's it for this part one. Stay tuned for part two in about a month's time. Bye-bye. We would like to thank Future Bass for the wonderful music you hear in this podcast. The title is called Alone.